crashing sound and make it kiss the ground.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we're Velocities in Music, VIMTV. Today we're going to do an album review. So the last two album reviews of the set of 10, so if the number ends in a 9 or a 0, then that means that we are doing requests on our new request system. And this one is Wilco's AM. This was actually requested by a number of people, and we got several very good written requests for that. Now, our written request format, just so you guys know, so if you're interested in requesting an album at Velocities in Music, what you do is you, in some way, shape, or form, either by email or on Facebook or on YouTube, send us some sort of message that just outlines, and we want a couple paragraphs because we want to know what album you're requesting, why you're requesting it, what you think we'll think of it, and how it applies to music. Because if you can point out all these things, what we're going to do is start a conversation about music, and that's what this site is designed to do, is start conversations and get people thinking about music and not just going, okay? So this was a great request. I was pleased. I've listened to Wilco in the past and liked Wilco, but I've never listened to their first album, which AM is. Yeah. And it was a good experience, you know? And Wilco, Tom, you know the name of the band that these guys are in?
Uncle Tupelo.
Yeah, and two of the members, the lead guy...
Jeff Tweedy, and I can't remember the other name. I apologize for that.
So they started Wilco. This is their first album, and it's a good amalgamation of, you know, a lot of southern rock, classic rock, and even alternative country influences throughout this album. This is 13 tracks. And I felt like, and this was 95.
Yes.
1995. So contextually, you know, this is a little older of an album, and it fit into, and it's a very full sound for an album that's in, you know, that sort of genre right there. And a lot of these tracks, I mean, you can see a lot of influences from like the mid to late 70s too, and even earlier. And I really appreciate that because they did it very well. One of my favorite aspects about Wilco's music is, you know, you always have great instrumentation. There's some great banjo and guitar riffs, both acoustic and electric, just going on at all times. And this is going on top of a lot of rhythm in the bass drums and rhythm guitar. And in that kind of blending just makes these songs have a lot of energy that makes them fun to listen to. And one other aspect that really gets me every time I listen to really any Wilco album, but especially I noticed it on this one, is just the tact in the vocals, of how vocal parts never take over the songwriting. They never become dominant. In fact, they'll even just have like a short little breath where there's just nothing. They'll just stop the vocals and just have the instrumentals take over, and that highlights some of the high quality instrumentation there and shows that the vocals are versatile enough that they don't have to rely on them, that they can just make their punch, make the music better when they're there, add value to the overall listening experience, and then move on. Yeah. And I love that. I think that shows a lot of tact. Tom, what did you think, my Tito friend?
Well, I did like this album. Now, I want to say also that I think it's cool because I think this has some jam band aspects to it on top of that. But it's nice because I've always felt that jam bands, a lot of the time, while they're amazing at their instruments, sometimes the songwriting's pretty spotty. Yeah. Songwriting's pretty consistent, and it remains the focus while having some of those spots. Yeah. But to me, I mean, I'll get my couple of gripes out of the way. Now, first off, I think that when you've got a debut album from a band that kind of comes from another band, you know, I think right away you're going to have kind of some tension and some comfortability issues. Right. Because obviously in 1995 people weren't going to know this, but now in 2011 we know the directions that Wilco have gone from this album. And so it makes it a little difficult, not difficult to listen to, but you know, I can't help but think when listening to this of the stuff that they're going to do after that.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Exactly. And when you do that, you know, any band who starts out with a more traditional, safe sound and goes somewhere more experimental in the future, then I'm pretty much always going to like the more experimental stuff better. I'd probably listen more to, you know, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot and A Ghost Is Born.
I've listened to a lot of Sky Blue Sky.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, they never get totally crazy. They never go Radiohead Kid A on you, but still, there's more to it than there is on this album, and I tried as hard as I could to kind of step away from that. But also just, I think one thing that's very present on this album is the fact that this is a new band of people, you know, who were in different bands, done different things in the past, and they're kind of like, okay, we need to take this album to really figure out what we're doing. And for that, it's very good. But at the same time, I feel like it's playing it very safe for that reason, because they had to play it safe in the beginning to figure out what the hell they were as a band.
Right. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get my score out of the way, Tom.
Okay.
I like this album a lot. I'm giving this an 80, and I said a lot of positive things that I want to reiterate again, and without repeating myself a whole lot, I'll just jump right into the negative criticism that I have, which is just a general feeling of like, we talk about X Factor on this show, and and on the music reviews we do, and I feel like that this album does not have a good catchiness to it. You know, I don't feel like these songs are inherently catchy or memorable. And in that X Factor quality, it just seems like I don't have a real solid connection emotionally with the music itself, and that's going to keep me from coming back. And I feel like that that limitation, while I can respect it and when it's on I'm going to love it, I feel like that the lack of connection there, and maybe that's due to just some of the like the laid back kind of southern rock country, alternative country moods on that. Maybe that's part of it. It's just that I just don't get it. I just don't have that emotional connection. That's really the only thing limiting this, pushing this down a little bit for me, is the lack of X Factor. So I'm going to go 80.
I'm going to go 70.
Sweet. I feel like that evens out to a good score, right where Wilco first album should be. I'd really like to sometime review a couple other Wilco albums. I think that'd be fun because I like this band. I think they got a lot of talent. What do you guys think? Did you like Wilco's first album? What's your favorite Wilco album? We'd love to hear from you. And also, if you guys are interested in requests, or if you want more clarification on how to make a request, we have several different ways in which you can do so. The easiest, I think, is just writing us a kick-ass couple of paragraphs as to why you want us to review an album. And check out our website. Leave us a comment at www.velocitiesmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesmusic. Check out our other reviewing mates Tumblr blog / written review center, and that's at vimtv.tumblr.com. Please follow us on Twitter and Facebook because we talk about music there. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
You shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't be ashamed.